Thank you, Sharon. The next great conspiracy. New Zealand is disappearing off world maps. Disappearing. It's all over the internet. What?
Hello, Reese.
Cindy, Your Majesty, I'll keep this brief. New Zealand is being left off world maps all over the world.
I'm sure there is a reasonable explanation.
I don't think so. I've been searching the internets for the last 30 seconds and it's everywhere. This is a major conspiracy. I'm going to get behind it. By that, I don't mean support it. I'm going to actually, sort of get in behind it. Not in a rude way. I'll go around the side of it, but I'm going to search it out. I'm going to study it. Leave it with me, my lady. New Zealand, where the bloody hell are you? Australia. They're stealing our tourists. Our wine, sacre bleu. Sneaky Frenchies. You missed it off by accident. Are you sure? Or is England trying to get rid of the All Blacks once and for all?
That was fast.
Of course, Your Highness.
Jacinda is fine, Reese.
Listen, this is big. Bigger than we thought. Bigger than the moon landing and Loch Ness combined. Which, by the way, is one of my theories, that those things are combined. Now look, I've boiled it down to a few things. Australia want our tourists, England want to get rid of the All Blacks, and the wine industry, they can't beat our Pinot or Sav.
Are you sure?
Well, I do have one more theory. We're quite a fiddly-looking shaped country, a bit like a half-eaten lamb chop. Perhaps people are just leaving us off, thinking we're a mistake.
Reese, I've got to go.
But I know, you're short of time. Okay. Now, do you want me home to report back to the nation? Because I can be there in 3 movies and a meal.
Look, Reese, you might be onto something, but we're going to need some help.
How's things anyway? What's the buzz on the beehive? Hello?
Stay here all night. Yes, get all the autographs.
ladies and gentlemen, the Right Honourable Helen Clark, Prime Minister of New Zealand, and the official party of the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Everyone, hold on to your seats. We're about to see the parade.
You've come to journey's end. Sleep now and dream of the ones who came before.
This is fun, right? This is crazy!
We're freaking out! We're so excited we keep taking pictures.
Yeah.
Will pass away, safe from you're only sleeping. What can you see on the horizon? Why do the white gulls call across the sea?
Thanks for coming.
Through shadows, out of memory and time. Don't say.
On behalf of everybody, we just thank you for such an incredible night. We're never ever going to forget this for the rest of our lives. This is unique, and thank you so much.
To silver glass, light on the water, gray ships pass into the west.
I'm going to the fourth world. It's an enjoyment.
What the?
This is
Such wanton death was dealt that day. For this city of men was nothing to smile.
Accomplish wonders.
Is be able to move the camera for the first time. That there were always techniques that required the camera to be locked off, because once you started to move the camera it would give away the illusion of one person being further away when you're really wanting them to look like they're side by side.
The hangi is a traditional form of cooking for New Zealand Māori. It has similar connotations throughout the Pacific Islands, where a fire is lit and rocks are heated, and then the food is placed on top of these rocks and covered so that a steam oven is formed, and the food is cooked over around about 3.5 to 4 hours. Because of the size of the hangi, we're going to burn the fire in one hole to heat the rocks and the irons, and then we're going to transfer that across to the main cooking hole that will hold the baskets of food. The fire itself will burn for around about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, to ensure that the stones and the irons are heated thoroughly. Then they'll be transferred from the ashes into a clean hole, and then the process will begin where the rocks will be covered with some greenery, normally watercress, puha, or in this case some cabbage, and that's to shield the meat from the intense heat of the rocks and the irons. Then we'll place the baskets of food onto the hot rocks. Then after that we will cover the food with some cloths to keep the dirt away, hopefully, and then we're going to put some tarpaulins over the top, and this will help to hold the heat down and to start generating the steam in the cooking process for that.
Ai honore korea ki tātua. Just soaking the sacks into the water. These will go on top of the food.
Alright, so we're just about to start breaking down the fire. If you can see the fire here, in the centre there it's several hundred degrees with the irons fairly glowing red, so we know that we're just about ready to go. In the main hole, which is where we're going to cook, we've had a fire in there to warm the earth up already. Some of the guys have already started to take the embers out. We don't want too many embers in there because that'll make your food a bit smoky, a bit acrid. So they're just starting to clean that out, remove some of those embers. ready to start dragging out some of these hot irons, and then we're going to put it into the hole over here. On this side you can see, is it what to pan across? You can see they've already started layering up the crates with the food in it, and we're just about ready to go now, so just watch the guys start to get a bit hot and sweaty as they move these hot pieces of iron. So you can see the heat in those irons now as they've starting to lift them. You can see they're fairly glowing red. As I said, it'll be a fast and furious pace for the next quarter of an hour trying to get it out. If I had a temperature probe here, you'll be looking at about 700 degrees in the middle of that fire. They're just lining the side of the hole with sacks to stop any dirt from falling in on the side of the food. Protect the edge. There's our wet cabbage leaves now going into the fire on top of the irons. That's to help shield the initial heat burst from the red hot irons. You can see they're working at a fairly good pace. Once those leaves go on there with that water, it's already starting to generate the energy, starting to generate the steam. So this is why the guys have to work fairly quickly. If you look across, you'll see the size of the baskets coming in now. This is our beef and our pork. Purely because of the density of the meat, they need to be the first ones closest to the stone to make sure that they get cooked. You can see the guys have to get down on their hands and knees down into the hole. You can see how deep that is. First basket of 4. You can see the steam now starting to generate quite profusely. And again, they're the next densest items to go into the hole. Vegetables and stuffing. Of course, they don't take so long to cook, or don't need so much energy to cook. So they'll be the last 2 baskets to go on top. Now the wet sheets are going on top. That'll help protect it from any dirt going back down on top of the food, so they're the initial layer to go down. Create more steam again, but also to stop the cloths from burning, catching fire. The layers of cloth, and now we're putting some heavy hessian sacks on that to hold down, start holding down the steam, as you can see, and they'll build up a layer on that. Fantastic, thank you, gentlemen. It's been down for 3.5 hours now, and the guys are just unearthing it. They're just clearing all the dirt away from the edges, get it nice and clean before they start to peel back the layers, so they don't get any of the soil going in and contaminating the meal. As you can see, as they're pulling back the layers, you can see the steam is now coming out of the ground, showing that the hagi's been successful. There's still a lot of heat in there. The food is well cooked, and the aroma, you can smell the slightly smokiness of the food and the earthiness of the food, that damp earthiness. 3. Yep. As you can see,
Put the colour on the outside. You can cover that if you want. 2, 1 up. Just let it slip in there, sit out.
Meet Monty, your designated driver.
Wait, is it neutral, Jess?
Don't be alarmed.
Yeah, good boy.
He's trained and he knows what he's doing.
Hey. Hey.
A is for accelerator. Monty understands and he's off. This isn't a trick. Monty, the giant Schnauzer Cross, is actually driving the car. 6 months ago his owners gave him up. They said he was too difficult to control, but there's no sign of road rage here. The story begins indoors, where the dogs learn simple gestures. Over and over they practice, pushing buttons again and again. Once the gear changes are sorted out, it's on to steering.
Good boy.
In 7 weeks, the dogs are ready.
When we chain behaviours together, in this case we've got like 10 behaviours, you know, and we're all putting together, so each behaviour is a trained behaviour, and then you put them into a sequence. So it's a lot to do, you know, and for the dog to actually start to get an idea of what actually is happening takes quite a long time.
It's a lot of fun, but it has a serious purpose.
Turn. Good boy. Turn. Turn. Good.
The charity, based in the New Zealand city of Auckland, wants more rescue dogs to be adopted. They thought it would be easier if the public realised how intelligent they can be. Next Monday, 3 dogs' driving abilities will be tested live on national television. No people or animals were harmed during the making of this film. Bill Hayton, BBC News.